We have our first big tomatoes starting to turn red. Jeffrey said you can tell how your tomatoes are getting ready to start turning red. There's, let's see, I'll find one for you guys. Here's a few right here that are still a light green. He says that when they're a light green, they still have a little ways to go before they start turning red. But he said when the top of them starts turning a darker green, then you know your tomatoes eventually going to start turning red. Here's an example right beside that one tomato. You see the top of this green tomato? You see how it's a darker green and the bottom half is a light green? Then you know that this one is eventually going to start turning just like his sister over here. I had mentioned in a previous video that the squash and zucchini plants were starting to die back, and this is what it looks like. The leaves are starting to turn yellow and die. Even the green leaves are starting to lay down, and that lets you know that the plant is soon going to finish producing and going to die back. And it's typical for this time of the year, this part of July. We have black-eyed peas already turning. I picked some too that have dried out. It's turning. Be our first red tomato. The eggplant is really starting to produce. This one is over here as well. See there? And then there's another one on this side. And one up there. As I've stated on several videos, the cucumbers are winding down. There's a lot of blooms on them, but if I leave a cucumber this size, like you guys can see right here, I can come back tomorrow and it's big like those and turning yellow. But I'm gonna get off from here and start to really hurry up and get this stuff picked before the rain comes in. One of my dad's neighbors came over today and told me I better pick this tomato before somebody else gets it, which is so true. I probably would have let it stay on the vine another day to get cherry red, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick it today and have my first tomato sandwich. Didn't wanna let go. I'm gonna have to put the phone down to get it. Here we go. Better call it a day because that storm is coming through and the thunder is sounding. I really wanted to pull up the onions today, but I'm not gonna get to it. Oh, there's lightning. But this wind and this storm, I guess, is gonna cool it off a little bit, so that'll be a welcome thing. I'll have to get back in here, try tomorrow or the next day. And this is what I picked. I have squash, zucchini, a few cucumbers, and there were some turnip greens out there in the middle where the cucumbers and the onions are, so I pulled up a few of those, or picked a few of those. I love a good storm. Rain's coming down. I'm out here for the second day in a row trying to beat another storm that's coming through. In between the green beans, I found a nice big patch of turnip greens. I'm gonna stir fry these. That's what I have so far. Green beans in that. Here's an example of what I was talking about in a previous video, how you can tell when the tomatoes are getting ready to start turning red. You see the top part is a dark green and the lower part is still a light green. By next week, this is going to start turning red. It appears the squirrel has gotten into the green tomatoes. I guess they can't wait for them to turn either. We're going to have to treat these, but we're going to have to wait till the storm is over. I wanted to show you all too that I was hoping to get some pears off this pear tree, but unfortunately the squirrels have beat me to it and I don't see any more pears on the tree. This happened to me last year as well. I was waiting to pick them until they were ready to be picked because the first couple I picked were they were just too hard, and before they ripened they got real soft and mushy and had no taste. But the squirrels beat me to it again. I want to give you all a quick view of these peas. They are really starting to produce. I went ahead and finished shelling the peas. Daddy said I probably picked them too early because they were too hard to shell, but I let them sit a couple of days. I didn't let them dry out, but I went ahead and shelled them, and it'll make a nice little one serving for one person, but I am going to cook them to see what they taste like. There are a few green peppers on here, but I want to let them get a little bigger before I pick them. I also have some jalapeno peppers on here as well. I'm going to leave those a few more days and see if they'll get a little bigger as well. I went ahead and decided to go ahead and pick the jalapenos. Maybe with me picking them, they'll start producing a little quicker. This is what I picked today. I haven't gone over to the squash over in that far area. I'm not going to get over there today. The storm is rolling through, so I want to get out of the garden before it starts raining. But this bottom half are green beans. I was able to pick 2 eggplant. I've got a nice little mess of greens I'm going to stir fry. Got a few cucumbers and a few squash. I have a nice little mess of green beans. This is a bushel basket and it's half full with green beans. I've picked 2 of these peppers, cucumbers, I have yellow squash, I picked some turnip greens, and I have 2 zucchini, and not zucchini, 2 eggplant, and a couple of jalapenos. And I also picked some red cherries, or cherry tomatoes. They're in my pocket here. Thank you all so much for watching Siblings A&J Gardening. Thank you for sharing, liking, and supporting our channel. We appreciate it. You all be safe and be blessed.